Howdy folks, it's your old mate DP, and strap in because King Clown NiCO has done it again. In his latest debate with Max, he dropped some of the wildest claims about telescopes I've ever heard, and I have heard some stuff. To set the stage, this debate was actually about the Bible and whether or not it supports flat Earth. But somehow, somewhere along the way, NiCO took a hard left into NASA projecting images directly into people's telescope viewfinders territory. I want to give a huge shout out to the Drunk Debunk show for hosting this debate. It's one of my favorites. It's an awesome channel. You should definitely go check them out and subscribe. And of course, we can't forget Max's channel, Matters Now, because Max absolutely obliterated NiCO in this debate. It was a masterclass in dismantling nonsense. So, while the topic of the debate was the Bible, we're not going to talk about that here on the channel because frankly, I'm just not that interested in the topic. But something I am interested in is
space.
Damn right, Tim Curry, the moon and planets and all that sort of cool stuff. During the debate, Max made an excellent point against the claim that the moon is its own light source, and to support his argument, he showed an image of the moon. He showed a few actually, but let's have a look at the clip and then we'll talk about it.
I am about to prove that the moon is not a light. So special thanks to my friend Seafoam, who gave me these pictures. These are all taken with his own telescope, and I unfortunately don't have one.
This was created on, this looks like
no,
Unreal
fuck
Engine
you.
Unreal Engine 3.
This is my friend who took these pictures with his own telescope. And these are all pictures of the moon. The moon is not a light. The moon is reflecting the sunlight.
Sorry, Max. I hate to interrupt, but for some reason, this just cracks me up.
And these are all pictures of the moon. The moon is not a light. The moon is reflecting the sunlight.
You want a juice box and some string cheese?
No, so again, that's old news, and getting into science with all that reflecting and
NiCO, the only thing that you're showing,
I can destroy that.
No, you can't, because these are actual pictures from a telescope, and this clearly shows that you have never in your life even used a cheap telescope, because anyone who uses a cheap telescope will see exactly this.
Max, hang on. Next.
This is from when he got a better telescope than the one he was using before, so you can actually see way more detail.
Go back, zoom into these pictures quickly, because these were not taken, no.
Yes, these are telescopes. You just hand wave this missile is not an argument.
Now, as much as it pains me to say this, we have to give NiCO a point on this one.
So these are pictures from your friends. So not even NASA has these images from their telescopes.
Yes, they do. They have even better ones.
Yeah, we already gone over everything that NASA has is all fake and composite imaging and CGI video and green screen, aquatic arena filming.
Yeah.
Now the moon's got colors. Who's ever seen the moon like this with blues and browns and grays? This is ridiculous.
The
So
moon
obviously
has colors.
this is created on a computer program. This is not from some telescope.
100% incorrect. The moon does have colors, and there are techniques that you can do when processing.
Wait, say that again. So now the moon has colors?
Yes. When you process the image through the telescope, when you have a high-end telescope, you can actually get these images, and I can send you the image, and you can go and find other images that look exactly like this from other people.
Wow.
Max is 100% correct again with that point. And importantly, remember this because it'll come up in a second. He mentions processing the image. It's just in the next section, he says something about the moon and the picture's a little bit different.
There are amateur astronomers who get together and point their telescopes at the things in the sky. And if you go and talk to them, you can find them on Facebook, you can find them on Twitter.
Listen, they're doing the same thing.
Shut up, NiCO, I'm not done. I'm not done. They will gladly tell you, hey, we're meeting next Thursday in this place. And if you go, they will let you look through the telescope with your own eyes. And you can see exactly this.
Yeah, NiCO kind of gets a point there too. Sorry.
No, you're not going to see exactly that.
Yes,
you're going to see a blurry light source in water.
In water? What?
And that is their composite image of what they saw. They're doing the same thing that NASA's doing. They're just painting out computer-generated images of the telescope.
I promise I'll get into more detail in a second. It's just this next bit is great. Max is the best.
Hold on, Max. Hold on. Let him talk.
Hand-wave dismissal is It's not an argument. Why instead of saying no, this doesn't work, no. Instead of doing that childish temper tantrum, why don't you go and meet the amateur astronomers in your area and look at it with your own eyes? What are you afraid of? Are you afraid of truth? Yes, you are. I will take the silence of concession. Thank you.
That's just great. Max's overall point here is rock solid. The moon is reflecting light from the sun, not glowing by itself. But there's just one small issue with the image that he used. While this absolutely is a real photo of the moon, it has been post-processed to enhance certain colors that aren't immediately visible to the naked eye or through a standard telescope. Now, don't get me wrong here. This is not a criticism of Max at all. He was correct that the moon has color variations. However, even with a high-end telescope, you won't see the vivid colors shown in that processed image. The natural color differences on the moon's surface are way too faint for the human eye to detect without additional processing or specialized filters. So here's the image again. This enhanced image reveals different mineral compositions on the lunar surface. That's what you're seeing. The blue areas show regions rich in titanium, like Mare Tranquillitatis. That's a mouthful. The orange-reddish areas, or brown as NiCO said, indicate iron-rich regions in the lunar highlands. So these colors are real, but they require image processing or specific filters to be visible at this level of detail. Even if you have a high-quality telescope, the moon will still appear mostly in grayscale or with very, very subtle color variations. To see the vibrant detail in the enhanced image, you'd need to use special filters or apply digital saturation adjustments post-capture. That means after taking the picture. The reason I'm bringing this up is because NiCO and other flat earthers love to dismiss any image they don't understand as CGI or fake. But in reality, this kind of post-processing is a common technique used by astronomers, both professionals and amateurs, to highlight details that our eyes can't normally pick up. Point of order, just in case you're wondering, your eyes are a terrible, terrible scientific instrument. So in regards to this picture, this is not faking an image. It's bringing out details that are already there. It's along the lines of spectroscopy, which, as we all know,
spectroscopy needs to be in a container.
Thanks, Dirth. So just a quick recap on this little section. The moon is not its own light source. It reflects sunlight. End of story. The colors in the enhanced image are real, but they're way too faint to be seen this vividly without processing. And with a high-end telescope, you will still see the moon mostly in grayscale unless you're using specialized filters. You will not see exactly what you see in that image. Again, I find myself having to do something I've done way too often in the last couple of weeks, and that is saying, fair play, NiCO, fair play. You weren't 100% wrong. You're not 100% right, but you weren't 100% wrong. But now it's time to get some more points on the board for Max. He was on about 10,000 by this point, so if we check the scoreboard, it looks like this. The debate continued and the discussion turned to more things about photography, and Max made a point about flat earthers taking pictures with their camera of choice, the P900 or P1000 from Nikon or Nikon, however you want to say it, kind of like Nike or Adidas. Nobody knows. There was some back and forth about taking pictures. Max made the point that if you're hand holding a camera like the P1000 with a massive zoom, everything impacts how steady you can hold it. Your breathing, your pulse, the wind, any kind of movement makes everything shake around. That's 100% true. NiCO made a point about tripods, that you can put a camera on a tripod and it eliminates that issue. I'm not giving him a point for that. That isn't what Max was saying. He was just pointing out that all flat earth content looks horrible. In this next clip, they do get off into the weeds a little bit with that stuff, and NiCO gets a bit snarky about the whole stability thing, but Max makes some excellent points. So let's take a look at that.
Get this. My friend Astronomy Live is so cool that he will actually, you can schedule a session with him, and he will let you connect remotely to his telescope and look through the telescope and control the telescope yourself. You can actually watch all of this by yourself. And if you're near him, you can go to him. He lives in Florida, and he will be more than happy to meet up with you and show you so you can look through this freaking telescope, which is super expensive.
Wow. You just debunked yourself with all this crap, man.
No, I didn't. These are actual images from his own telescope.
Sorry, Max, to interrupt again. I just have to say, that telescope, oh man, I am so jealous.
These are all images from his own telescope.
But wait, go back to the one of Jupiter spinning. So his telescope can give us images of Jupiter spinning live, but we can't get images like that of Earth from NASA. Like, come on.
Yeah, we definitely can get images like this from NASA. And what he does is, over the course of one night, he takes a bunch of pictures and then strings them together into an animation.
Just in case you missed it, because NiCO was desperately trying to talk over the top to stop Max making his point. The images of Jupiter spinning is a time lapse. Over the course of a whole night, a bunch of images are taken, and then you just put them in sequence to produce the spinning image of the planet rotating. It's not CGI. It's not faked. It's just a series of photographs, which incidentally is what video is.
So your buddy was able to get this telescope on the tripod. His pulse wasn't able to vibrate it and make it blurry. He was able to zoom in and get this crisp, well, not crisp, but this blurry so-called image of Jupiter spinning without any interruption from all the forces that we're experiencing, without any space rocks getting him. How come we don't see any space rocks flying in between?
Hey, NiCO.
Space
is big.
Right? But yeah,
because
someone with a P900 Nikon, if they friggin' have a pulse, it's going to vibrate. But with all the spinning and motion of the Earth and all the space rocks floating around in space, this guy can get an image like this through his damn telescope. You guys are such liars. Are so bad at it. And this is ridiculous. Anyone that's buying this and eats this up, that's it. You deserve what's coming to you.
NiCO, the only thing coming to Max and myself is our big fat NASA shield checks.
You can talk to Astronomy Live. You can look at the amateur astronomy group near your area. You won't do that because you're afraid.
How would I know I'm not really scrolling and looking through some friggin' created world in a software system, right?
That is one option. I gave you another option. Go and meet the astronomy group in your area, which there's 100% an astronomy group near you. They're all over the globe. And you can look at the telescope through your own eyes, but you're afraid. You won't do that.
No, that's a waste of a trip. If I'm going to see what I just saw there with Jupiter and only one moon when it's said that there's 17, then I know it's crap. I know it's fake. There's no, can't even explain where the other 16 moons are.
According to NiCO, every single image ever taken by a telescope, whether it's from NASA, professional observatories, or even your local backyard astronomer like me, is actually just CGI. Because, of course, millions of amateur astronomers around the world are secretly all part of the global space conspiracy. It makes total sense, right? Here's the thing. These amateur astronomers all over the world with zero connection to NASA capture the exact same images using their own personal telescopes, whether it's Saturn, Jupiter, the moon, or distant galaxies. Anyone with the right equipment can point their telescope at the sky and see the same things. And just for kicks, let's point out that telescope images match up with what spacecraft have photographed from probes like Voyager and Cassini. So if all of it is fake, who's behind this global CGI conspiracy? Do we have a secret society of Photoshop wizards somewhere? I mean, if every single backyard astronomer is in on this thing, then I've got a couple of questions. One, where the hell is my paycheck? And two, who forgot to send me my secret decoder ring?
There's no, you can't even explain where the other 16 moons are.
NiCO, how would looking through a telescope and seeing Jupiter be fake? How would looking through a telescope and seeing Jupiter be fake? Answer the question.
Because what we saw doesn't add up with what the science
NiCO,
says
if you
Jupiter
look,
is
if
and what
you
Jupiter
look
has,
through your,
and there's no 6 or 7 planets in between, so we don't see
oh my God, NiCO,
Uranus, we don't see Neptune, Saturn.
All the
6 or 7 planets in between Mars and Jupiter. Let's just double check that because we can, because science is awesome. So if we count them off and have a look at what we've got now, we've got Earth, awesome. Then we've got Mars, that's one. And then Jupiter, it's just one. Everything else is further out.
do you think that all the planets are all the time like in a perfect line? No,
They
that
were just
doesn't
aligned
happen.
right now. So what the hell's
Yes,
going on?
and
Let's
it
see the
happens
alignment.
once. It happens once every a whole bunch of years. That is just wild.
Yeah, 2,100 and something years, a Baktun or whatever they're calling. I know that the damn crap nonsense. It doesn't fit in with Bible
No, you don't. You don't know
cosmology.
nothing.
Yeah, it's made up. Every section of this science to do with space is made up, and it doesn't fit together. Everything the Bible says fits perfectly and fits with what we learn and
except
see and
when it
experience in
contradicts.
real life. Nothing that they
Except
give
when the
us
Bible
has
contradicts
anything to do
itself.
with this world. It's fake.
Except when it contradicts itself, Nico, you're so lost. You have no idea what you're talking about.
And now, 16 minutes into the video, which was not the plan, we get to the part of the debate which inspired me making this video in the first place.
Hugh Haman,
Haman.
for 189 says, careful, look in the telescope and they sodomize you.
Yes, they sodomize your eye. Oh, unironically, I've heard flat earthers say that NASA beams CGI images into telescopes. That's how desperate these motherfuckers are.
Yeah, how is that not something that could be a possibility, right?
You didn't mishear that, so I'm going to play it again. Here's Max.
Unironically, I've heard flat earthers say that NASA beams CGI images into telescopes.
And then NiCO says,
Yeah, how is that not something that could be a possibility, right?
ladies and gentlemen, NiCO has uncovered the most secretive tech in the world. According to him, NASA is somehow sending fake images directly into telescope viewfinders, ensuring that everyone sees only what NASA wants them to see. Never mind the fact that, as Max said,
Dummy, you can buy a telescope that is just a tube with lenses.
think about how a telescope actually works. It's literally just a tube with mirrors or lenses that focus incoming light from celestial objects. It doesn't receive transmissions. It doesn't have a built-in display. It's not a VR headset. There's no microchips or computer chips or Wi-Fi adapters or anything of the sort. But playing devil's advocate, the only way NASA could send images into a telescope would be if 1, every telescope on Earth secretly had a built-in screen NASA could control. 2, NASA was able to project high-resolution images into thin air, which, let's be honest, would be incredible technology. And 3, every independent astronomer was in on this. If NASA really had this power, don't you think they'd use it for something more useful? Like, I don't know, beaming Wi-Fi into my house so I don't have to reset the router every other day? So let's put this claim to the ultimate test. Given that I own a Newtonian telescope, let's take a little tour inside and see if NASA has secretly installed any high-tech image projection systems in there. But to do this right, because I recorded it with my phone, we have to go vertical. Ooh, this is exciting. All right, paying no attention to any mess in my house, and apologies for the audio if it sucks. It's really hot here today in Australia, and I've got my air conditioner on. This is a telescope. It is bare bones. It is an entry-level telescope. It is the Celestron StarSense Explorer LT, I believe, a 114 millimeter Newtonian telescope, and it is great. But it's entry-level. It cost me about 400 Australian dollars, which is about, I don't know, 30 cents US and 25p in the UK. Anyway, this is what it is. Couple of things. First of all, this little jigger up here is the spotter scope. I've got a couple of dials for adjustments that you can see here. There's a switch somewhere to turn the thing. Actually, it's this one. You turn it on and off with that, and then you look down the guts of it just like this, and you get a little red dot. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. I've just screwed my alignment. That's brilliant. I don't know if you can see the red dot at all. It can be kind of hard to see, but it's got a little laser in there. A freaking laser, but it doesn't pew anything. It's very low powered, and it's just to help line up with objects in the night sky. This bit, which looks very chunky, has got a mirror in it. Let me just rip that off for you. There you go. So that's got a mirror on it, and you put your smartphone on this thing to use an app to help you track objects in the night sky. So the phone doesn't connect to the telescope directly. There's no wires here. There's nothing hidden. You can unscrew that and take it off. I'm not going to because it takes work and I can't be bothered. But so the phone just sits in there, and once you've got it aligned with the find a scope. You whack your phone on, you can use a couple of different apps like Stellarium or the StarSense Explorer app, and it can help you locate objects in the night sky. So you can tell the app, tap on Jupiter and say, I want to look at that, and it will give you arrows and tell you where to point the telescope so you can see it, or according to NiCO, so that NASA knows what image to beam directly into your eyeball, or whatever the hell he's talking about. That doesn't happen. It's just a directional guide. It references what it can see up in the night sky, and you align it using a couple of different knobs and move it back and forth and up and down knobs. And once it's calibrated and it knows roughly where it is in relation to the things in the sky, it can help pinpoint a position, which is pretty cool and it's fun to use. And this is just the cover for it, which is, I imagine, is also good for eating dips and stuff. Nom, nom. Around this side, this is where you put your lenses and stuff. I just want to have a quick goosey inside here and see what we can see. Any wires? No, that little dot down the end is where the mirrors project all the images up into eyepieces. There's a couple of screws here for securing the eyepiece. This is your focus ring, which moves that in and out to help focus the image. Oh, that's sexy. That is what that does. And then we've got some other knobs. So this one is to secure it to the tripod, which you can see there. And this one you can loosen up, and that helps with your up and down movement. And then this little bar is for like fine-tuning adjustments. It's pretty effective. It's not the best telescope in the world. It's not the easiest one to drive, but it gets the job done. I've had some awesome views of planets with it. And then around the front here, this is the front end. So this is just a cover, and this little middle bit that pops out as well. See that? So that helps you reduce the amount of light coming in, handy for looking at the moon and things like that. This is the interesting part. I think you'll find if we have a look down the guts, you can see straight down there, this little patch of light on the right-hand side that you can see there, just below my gorgeous, gorgeous face. Why am I trying to stay out of the way? Oh, there I am. Hi, me, down the end. Hello. That's just a mirror. That's what that is. And then this little guy down here is to help collimate the telescope and center images and stuff like that. So light's coming in, bouncing back up, and then it's reflecting something in there up into the eyepiece. Someone else would describe this way, way better. What I really want to point out is we've got a pretty good view inside the telescope here, and there are no wires, there are no computer chips. If I can pop this little guy off, there's a couple of screws in here. Come on, you little bugger. There you go. No computer chip. There's a screw there, a couple of holes, and that is it. It's not solder. It's glue. It's some glue. That's what that is. Poke, poke, poke. That's I can feel it sticking to this toothpicky guy. That's just glue, is what's going on there. No high-tech wizardry. The other thing, I don't know if you can see this, but look there, under that finder scope, there's no wires there. Nothing poking in, and where those screws are, you can look inside. Don't know if you can see this, get a better angle. But those screws are just up the top there, somewhere. Nothing connected to those. Nothing. Really strange. Really odd. Have another look down here. No wires. So yeah, through here you can see that's where the collimating thing is. The three spokes with the dot in the middle. There you go. Same thing. And now we're seeing that straight down the guts, and that's reflected up into the eyepieces. Speaking of those, maybe that's how NASA are doing it. So let's just check out all the other bits and pieces I've got here. So this is a little lens, Celestron 10mm lens, just bare bones, came with the telescope. But we can look through that if I line it up with the camera. And there's my floor. So I'm not sure how NASA are beaming that into the eyepiece through the roof. Interesting. That's definitely my rug from my hunting trip to Sesame Street. I've got another skin here. It's a great time. But yeah, there's nothing going on with that lens. There's the other side. No wires, no wizardry. Okay. Not looking good, NiCO. All right, here's a 25mm lens. This one's bigger, so it must have something inside it, surely. Let's have a look. Maybe this rubber thing is wired for sound. No, doesn't look good. So there's another view through said eyepiece. Get a couple of different angles, goes a bit blurry. No, there's a side, and then inside. Oh, no. Nothing in there. Damn it. Here's a Barlow lens. Now, Barlow lensing doubles basically your magnification, and they're a bit crap. But if we have a look through, there's a screw attached to the eyepiece. We've got a cover on there. That might be hiding some secrets. Oh, no. Look, straight through. Again. God. This is really disappointing. I thought we'd cracked the case. Okay, and then the neutral density filter. So this is really good for looking at the moon, because the moon's quite bright in a telescope. So you put this on the end of your lens, on the butt. It helps reduce some of the light. You get really good views with that. Okay, so if we have a look at that, we can see, put the filter over. Ooh, no wires or wizardry in there. That's very straightforward. And just to be on the safe side, there's the box. It's got a little bit of foam to not damage the lens. That is just a box made in China, so they must be in on the conspiracy. And then a plastic cover that you've sort of seen already. No. All right, let me just put that away really quick. And then it could be here. I mean, this is the little accessory bag that I lug everything around in. What's going on? Oh, wait, we got something. This could be it. Ah, nope. No, that's just a little piece of microfiber cloth for cleaning lenses and getting gunk off and fingerprints, because I'm clumsy. We've had the grand tour, and I think we can safely say that NASA's not getting into this thing. No. Sorry, NiCO. I'm not sure how that works, buddy. Very disappointing. It's moved. The secret's out now. I've just spun it around. What I want to do is whack a lens in right here, or an eyepiece. I've got to undo this screw a bit more. That's me. Right. And let me just have a little goosey here. Alright, we can kind of see something. If I focus that up, try to. A really good view of, I don't know if you can see this, but outside, you can see we've got some trees out on the balcony there. Cool. So what I want to do is just try and see if what NASA are beaming to us here. If we can focus that up. There you go. You can see the leaves right through the lens, more or less. Apologies for the severely questionable quality here, but that's a tree. And if we go outside and have a look, there it is. So how the hell are NASA beaming it from up there to here into my telescope that's pointing horizontally? Baffling. So there you have it. Another wild claim from KLoWN NiCO bites the dust. Dusty. If you enjoyed this video, drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and until next time, I shall see you next time. Be good, and if you can't be good, don't get caught. Bye.